So we got a regular release, a gold label collection, and a collector edition. And today I'm going to take a look at all three of these figures. So without further ado, let's get this DC Multiverse Party started.
Let's go! Cavs are here! Cavs are here! I love it this time of year when the Cavs are here. Cavs are here!
Hey, what's happening? YouTubers are back with a brand new action figure reviews, and as you heard from my opening monologue, yes, anything going forward, like anything with multiple DC Multiverse figures in one review, I'm just going to dub them DC Multiverse Parties. But as you heard, I got a regular release, which is Cyborg Superman, which I blame the DC Multiverse collector for this one, so damn you. I had no intention of picking it up, and then I saw his review, saw his photos, and I was like, maybe I should, so damn you. And then I got Sergeant Rock because of the Broken Bat. He also enabled me to get this. So it's like the DC Multiverse Society is fast at it. Oh, here I am saying like, oh, the animated series line is going to be my definitive line, but you know, my homies in the society keep enabling me to buy these figures. But also I got Nightwing because he was on clearance at Walmart, and I've always been a fan of the DC versus Vampire stuff that McFarlane Toys has been doing, just because they have some pretty gnarly designs and sculpts on existing body molds. But you know, I'm going to start with Nightwing first, then we'll do Sergeant Rock review next, and then Cyborg Superman last. So without further ado, let's get the review started. So Nightwing's up first. Here's a data file card of Nightwing, and I don't know if this is actually from the comic book run. Some of the comments below let me know. And on the back is the data file, which surprisingly it's different. Usually sometimes when they rehash characters in different forms, they just copy and paste the old data file. But this one's a new one, so feel free to pause it if you want to go ahead and read it. And in terms of accessories, he comes with the Eskrima sticks. These are the same ones you saw from the OG release, because this is basically just reusing that body mold. And then another accessory comes with is this heart, which I don't know the significance because I never read the comic, but that's pretty insane / gnarly that he comes with an actual heart. This is very reminiscent of OG McFarlane Toys. He doesn't come with 2 sets of hands, he comes with just 3 total hands. Like, he comes with 1 additional hand, which is to grip one of the Eskrima sticks. And like I mentioned, this figure is basically just reusing that body mold from Nightwing in year 1. But the head sculpt is gnarly. Like, there's a lot of attention to detail in terms of this vampire Dick Grayson. You see the blood on his attire, which looks nice. Nice in terms of aesthetics of portraying a vampire, I should say. And what's new about this, though, are the hands. So you saw the one hand sculpt, that I showed. He has a gripping hand to hold the heart, and another one. Is this supposed to be a trigger finger, or is he just saying "You're next, I'm gonna suck your blood"? But what's funny is the blue is darker on this one than it was in the year 1 figure in that collectible Batmobile. And I think this shade of blue actually looks better. If they made this like into a regular Nightwing, I think this will look pretty good. But yeah, it's a nice reuse of this body mold. I don't think it's a bad one. The only thing I never really liked is these things just popping out there. I think there could have been a better way of implementing that in the body. But overall, again, I like when they do the vampire figures because, again, most of the time it's rehashed and reused body molds, but the head sculpt just looks so nice and gnarly. Next up on the review desk is Sergeant Rock, the collector edition version, ready for war with his shovel and his little mini knife or sword. Why the hell did I say sword? But in all seriousness, though, we know why he can't have any guns, which is why I picked this up recently. Ayo. But as you see, the weapon accessory he comes with, probably not going to use this. Maybe I'll use this for some photos. But when taking a look at this, we always talk about the collector edition and the price point and the offerings. I think this is solid. You have essentially 3 sets of hands total. I know this is reusing the Bane body mold, so some of these hand sculpts might look familiar. He also has a trigger finger, which I don't think Bane came with. I know these little shooters right here is the original one that Bane came with. And then, of course, you have the soon-to-be obsolete cards stand, but not really, because it comes with the Green Lantern that's coming out and the DC base plate, which I'm not going to throw at Homer Simpson. Oh, and don't forget the premium collector edition card. But speaking of collector edition card, let's go and take a look at it. So, in all seriousness, I do like the data file cards that come with these figures. I'm probably one of the few that actually do. And if you don't know who Sergeant Rock is, here's a good time to learn more about him. Feel free to pause it if you want to go ahead and read it. And just furthermore emphasizing like the offerings in terms of the accessories. He has the removable combat helmet, which is pretty cool accessory. And of course he has his backpack. And you know, when I look at this head sculpt, I'm not going to say it, but Toy Gains, if you're watching, damn you. Speaking of the head sculpt, it does look nice. You know, in some angles, he kind of looks like Joe Manganiello, the dude who's supposed to play Deathstroke, or he did, I guess, in the post-credit scene. But the head sculpt does look nice. I have seen some people remove, like, the smudge on his face. It just looks like he's got mustard on it. The coloring in the hair sculpt actually looks pretty nice, too. But I think overall the head sculpt looks pretty good, in my opinion. Paint application-wise, looks decent. Yeah, it's damn mustard stain. In terms of the overall figure, it is reusing the Bane body mold from the Dark Knights trilogy collected build wave, which is a decent body mold. The only thing that is kind of, you know, is the rubber overlay, so you're really not going to get much movement or crunch forward, unfortunately. You can, but it also might create creases right there in the torso, but again, not that much movement right there. And another thing I'm wondering, though, is this the first time they've ever used a movie body mold for a comic book figure? If it's happened before that, please let me know in the comments below. I'm sure it has, I can't think off the top of my head, but to me, I think this is the first time I've ever seen a movie figure be reused or retooled for a comic book figure. All right, now for the main event, Cyborg Superman. And he comes with a flight stand, which I think is good. I think every Superman figure should come with a flight stand, or as DC Multiverse Collector says, any figure that has any jetpacks or fire effects or flying should come with a flight stand. And just like the other figures you've seen, he also comes with a data file card. So this is based off the New 52 version, not the old school traditional one. So if you're looking to get that, at some point I think McFarlane's going to release it. But if you're looking for it right now, you have a plethora of options. You can get the old school DC UC or DC Direct ones, or you could also get the Mafex one. But on the back is the data file. Feel free to pause it if you want to go ahead and read it. Let me know, guys. Can you actually read this? Or does anybody actually pause it to read it? Let me know in the comments. Alright, now on to the figure. I cannot believe in the Facebook groups how many people were so adamant that this was a custom figure. Like, they were like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's custom. McFarlane would never do this, blah, blah, blah. Why would they have sculpted shoulder disc? They would never do that, when in theory they actually have done it before. I just think it was funny how like split it was. There's people that thought they knew better. It was like, oh yeah, it's just a custom, it's not real. And then you had the people that like, it looks like a McFarlane figure. But there's so much to go over with this. First, let's get started with the head sculpt. Now the head sculpt looks pretty gnarly to me. It looks like a, you know, that's the point, but it looks like one of the Terminators. But yeah, the sculpting work looks awesome. I think this is where McFarlane Toys really exceeds at and excels, is at these like gnarly sculpts, these out there designs. Like, this looks really cool. I remember one time someone did an interview with Tom McFarlane, and he was like, you know, like pick stuff that, you know, have cool designs, be a cool toy. And this is a prime example of that, picking the New 52 version. Because I'm sure at some point we'll get the classic one, but in terms of a New 52 version, like, I don't think we've ever gotten one before. And this one looks really, really gnarly, just like the Vampire Nightwing did. In terms of the rest of the figure, that same attention to detail is applied throughout the rest in terms of the sculpt. Also, the paintwork. You see a little bit of weathering on the emblem there, and then throughout the rest of the figure as well, which I really like. Now, the OG like pictures of this that leaked had a little bit more paint application. I'm not complaining about that. I think it still looks pretty gnarly, and I think it still looks pretty good, especially for what we get right now as the final product. Just, man, I can't believe a lot of people just went crazy about saying that was a custom. Anyways, another glaring, positive, I should say, like something that really stands out. You know, I had to mention it, fully pinless. So it's a pinless arm. The other one's not really counts because it's just a single joint. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I just, pins don't make or break a figure for me, but if they started implementing more pinless joints, I think that'd be cool. I know Mr. Freeze has it kind of like by way of like covering sort of the Gene Stealers and the Warhammer figures, but you like to see it. It's just one of those things that, I hope they further implement in other figures going forward. But I think this was supposed to be released like middle of last year. I don't know. Somebody correct me in the comments below. But anyways, just back to the figure. I just think it looks so gnarly and just something that, screams McFarlane Toys. Now, one of the flaws I'll make mention, this is just my, how I observe it as a flaw in my opinion. We're so used to soft goods wired cape now. It'd be nice to have gotten at this, but this figure's been, in production for a while now. The cape looks nice. However, it suffers from that syndrome that the Hush Batman suffered from, where it's pliable, but it's also pretty heavy. So I say this because I can tell when posing at certain angles, the upper torso does tend to fall back a little because of the weight of the cape. So as cool as the cape looks, it is just a little bit heavier plastic, and that's kind of like one of the downsides. But apart from that, this figure still is pretty sweet. And I wanted to do one quick random size comparison. Here's Sergeant Rock standing next to a Tesla that a very special friend of mine got for me. Before I give my overall thoughts, I do want to take a second to say thank you to every one of y'all. I just recently hit 2,400 subscribers. I never thought I would have even gotten a 1 subscriber, 100, and then just kept going. So it does mean a lot when y'all subscribe and check out the content and watch my videos. I am truly thankful when y'all watch and comment and all that stuff. It doesn't go unnoticed. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And if you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit subscribe and help us to get to 3,000 subscribers. All right, here's all 3 figures part of the DC Multiverse Party in today's review. And I gotta say, I like them all. They all have a purpose in the collection or will serve a purpose in the collection. This Nightwing vampire will be dope for toy photography shots, and he just looks sick. This Cyborg Superman is an iteration we've never gotten figure form, just looks super gnarly. And proving the people wrong who thought this was a custom. And then Sergeant Rock. I'm really appreciating this figure because, in my opinion, I think this is a deep cut character. Not many people knew who he was. I do remember him from the Justice League and Unlimited animated series, I believe. It was Justice League, one of the two. But I think it's dope for a deep cut character. In a day and age where people used to say all we get's Batman, well, this is definitely proving otherwise. We're getting a bunch of deep cut characters now, and we're getting Huntress, we're getting another Green Lantern, other characters in Lantern Corp, and then, Batman's part of it, but you know what I mean. We're getting other characters in DC Multiverse line that's not just predominantly Batman, and you like to see it because that's what we want, right? We wanted more diversity and more character building in this DC universe for the Multiverse line from McFarlane Toys, and I think in the last 2 years we've definitely gotten it. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, YouTubers. Which of the 3 do you like? Or you like all 3 equally? And do you think eventually we'll get a classic Cyborg Superman? And will you be picking up Sergeant Rock, or have you even heard of him before this figure was announced? Sound off in the comments below, and like always, if you like what you see, be sure to hit that like button. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.